Hey team, welcome to the latest episode of Hambassadors, brought to you by our mates at Stark. And this week Stark are shining a light on one of the epic vendors based at Made in Ham East, Red Kitchen.
They make nourishing meals made with love for busy people. Grab one from Made and turn dinner into a restaurant night at home.
If someone you needs a little TLC, maybe they're on the recovery road or juggling a few moving pieces, a Red Kitchen meal is the perfect gift.
Stock up your freezer, especially on multi-buy Mondays, and with a new bigger space coming, keep an eye out for Tuesday deals that'll take care of the rest of your week. Follow Red Kitchen on socials, or to check out recipes, updates and fresh drops, go to redkitchen.co.nz. Welcome to the latest episode of Hambassadors, our show that takes you behind the scenes of the Between Two Beers podcast. How are we doing today, Shay?
Dramatic pause for effect. Very well, Steve.
Don Bowden areas.
Yeah.
The pause.
Steve Harvey.
Oh.
Did he do that? And then he said the wrong name.
Yeah, Lee Harvey you're thinking of.
No, now we've gone down an absolute rabbit hole. Big couple of weeks, Stephen. Big couple of weeks. I feel like I say that all the time.
Yeah, you do. It has, but I would describe the last 2 weeks as turbulent.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
It has been pretty hectic. We spent a lot of time outside of Hamilton together.
Yeah, we did. We went on the road. Should we just get into it?
Rip the Band-Aid off?
We had a advisory meeting. It was meant to be in Christchurch 2 weeks ago, and then a flight got cancelled.
That was a shit text to get at 7:30 at night, the night before you're supposed to travel at 5 a.m, wasn't it?
Yeah. So then we had
flight
this
cancelled
7-hour or 6-hour, whatever it is, advisory day meeting, sort of crammed into 3 hours online. Like, we'll do it online. We'll do it online in the morning, and then fly to Christchurch. And
so we're in 4 separate places, 4 people on the call, each in a different place. You and I in our homes, in our safe spaces.
Yeah. And I'm kind of bumbling my way through the CEO report.
Could you tell that you were sort of a little bit disengaged?
Nah, I don't think. I think the recognition came after the fact. And then Maddie, who's our chair, at one point is just like, "Hey, Steve." I don't know if he said "hey." That's what I said.
He didn't. He said, "Can I just pause for a second, Steve? Are you okay?"
And then I've thought about the question, and I've thought about where it's coming from, and I've gone to answer, and I've felt like a little sort of quiver in my voice. And I'm like, oh boy. And then it's taken me, it must have been quite awkward on the other end of it, because it took me a little while to compose myself.
Well, you actually physically turned the laptop camera away, and then the 3 of us were sort of just left in the windows, sort of just patiently waiting for you to compose and come back. But it was a good spot by Maddie Hinton.
It was, because I don't think I had thought about how I was doing. And it kind of made me reflect on, maybe I'm not okay. And there'd been a lot of stuff that had kind of happened in the background. I lost a close friend. We had cash flow issues in the business. There was a lot of work leading up to this advisory, just stuff at home with 4 kids and family stuff, and it was just like, oh man, and it all kind of just like came out. And we talk about this in depth on our Accidental Business Owners that we're releasing next week, because we went down there to record these, so we had some great content to share. But I think for the first time since we've been on this journey,
it's okay.
I've gone there. I sort of stopped and thought, actually, it is too much. It is all caught up with me. And it was like I don't know, man. I'm still sort of trying to put it together. Like, it was quite a fragile morning that next morning too, right? We were going out for coffee.
Even the afternoon.
Yeah.
Flying down. It was like, because I picked you up to go to the airport, and I was like, driving to pick you up, and I was going, what's the play? What's the play here? It's just eyes forward, and how are you? How are you going? Because we got to Christchurch late at night, sort of went to our respective rooms quietly, early night, and then early morning start. Breakfast was kind of tumultuous. I think breakfast was good because it was still really raw. You got, I think, a lot of the emotion out before we went behind the microphones. Because in the back of my mind, I was thinking, this is going to be a blubbery morning of recording. So I don't know whether, I think maybe by design from Di's perspective to front foot it and try and get some of it out, but there's nothing like crying in a restaurant, is there?
Well, that was part of my fear, and this is the weird space we're in. Like, that was a super fragile time for me, and then waking up that morning, I was like, I'm gonna have to I'm going to have to talk about this on like 3 back-to-back-to-back podcasts, which tens of thousands of people are going to listen to. And I think that like added to the, oh man, like what this is a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
But it turned into 3 great episodes.
Yeah.
Like the next 3 episodes on ABO are great.
Yeah.
Because we cut through all the shit and it's like, you're not Superman. You can't do everything. You need to figure out what you are going to do and what you're not going to do and strategies for dealing with it. And it's kind of like, all right. I needed to break in order to get put back together again.
So we're 2 weeks down the line, like, and a few things have stuck with you, right? Like in terms of suggestions of things to move forward.
Yeah, and probably simple things that people might already do. One of them is like blocking out my Google Calendar for the week ahead of just like claiming all the time. I think I had just been quite chaotic and I'd just do things whenever I got to them, but actually like marking out, we're MCing a Four Square conference. Let's mark out 2 hours of time, 12 till 2, and that's the time we're going to do that. I've got reflection stuff I'm going to do. Let's mark that out for an hour afterward. And then I've got my whole day and I know exactly what I'm going to do Monday and Tuesday. And I was like, oh man, this is a bit of a game
I'm
changer.
laughing because it was quite funny that week afterwards when you would like get up and be like, all right, I got 10 minutes before my next meeting with myself. I'm just going to go and stretch my legs, and you go and sit on the couch and then get back up again and go into it. It was good. It was actually really good. Good focused, dedicated time.
Yeah, and then just to round off the Christchurch trip, we had a big recording. So we went down, we were meant to have the advisory that got cancelled. We did the ABO the next day and we had a big podcast recording the next day. And that was a big emotional one.
I think we teased it before the last Hambassadors said broadcasting royalty.
Yeah.
And it was a big emotional 3 days.
It was. And then after we're finished and we're in the Uber on the way to the airport and home, and just like not a word is said.
Nah.
We went to different
parts of the
airport.
I didn't even know. I think you must have been sitting right behind me eating your food and I was sitting my food. And then, on the flight, and we had separate seats on the flight home, which was nice. Although I'm a big guy still, and I got sat next to another equally big guy.
Two big boppers
sitting next to each other. I think that gentleman works for council here in Hamilton. So it was that sort of, I was leaning into the window and he was leaning into the aisle, and I don't think I've ever wanted to sit next to you more than I did on that flight home because of the I just get a lot more arm space when I'm sat next to you. But your phone died on the flight home.
Yeah,
and didn't come back on again until Sunday.
Well, I think I've changed a little bit from that week and from the last couple of weeks. And so one of the things is, the phone was at 1%, and I was like, oh shit, the phone's at 1%. Can I charge it? And the charger in your car didn't work on it. I was like, fuck it, it's off.
Yeah.
And so we got in at like 4 o'clock on Friday, and I didn't turn it back on until Sunday night.
And the world stayed.
And I had the best weekend.
Yeah.
Like uncontactable from anyone. Like didn't need to worry about anything that was happening.
Was football cancelled the next day as well?
Football was cancelled. Just had a day with family and a weekend with family with the phone off. And there's something in that as well.
I think, your boys are really deep in their football world though.
Oh, we played, I reckon, across the last 2 weekends, we have played about 12 hours of backyard footy.
Yeah.
They just will go all afternoon.
How's your body respond to that?
Yeah, I'm more of a goalkeeper role.
Yep.
So they kind of go 1v1 and I'm kind of on Ted's team in the background. But not bad. Dave McLean's doing bits.
With the cars.
Yeah.
We had an interesting experience on the weekend post-football where we bumped into each other at an open home around the corner from your house. I was walking through with Doc Brown, and then the Holloway family turned up, and I straight away was like, well, this is not the house for us. This is too close. I'd actually jumped up on the fence, the back fence, and peered over, and I could see the football pitch in the backyard of your place, and I thought I could hear.
We shouldn't be bumping into each other at open homes. We need some barriers.
Hey, if you're on the lookout for a house, you got to go where you need to. And that was off the back of a couple of days in Auckland MCing the Four Square conference.
Yeah. So this was really fun. We did, I did 2 nights. You did 4 nights at the Horizon Sky City. And this was a nice
hotel, by the way.
Awesome event. So it was 163 Four Square owners from across New Zealand, and we were the MCs for the day. And I remember walking with you down towards the conference, and I was kind of like, conferences, it's a bunch of old people. And I was like, it's not old people, is it?
Nah.
We're the old people. The people there are younger than us. And it kind of dawned on me, like as we got there, like, we're the old people now.
Well, one of your friends is a Four Square owner, Four Square Onihanga, and so that's our peer group. But I think it was, I don't know what I'd done, but I'd Googled Eric Murray recently. And in my mind coming up, like, I mean, obviously he's an Olympic gold medal and a world champion. So I kind of just thought Eric Murray was older than me, like way older than me. It turns out he's 4 days older than me, which kind of puts you in a weird headspace of like, one, what have I done with my life? But two, they're just the same, like he's the same age as me.
Yeah, that's a good example because I think of Eric Murray as an older man.
Yeah.
Too. And same with Kieran Reid, who I think I'm the same age as. It's always been like, he's like a man.
Yeah. You know? They did, I can't remember, I saw somewhere, they did like people that were born in your year. Oh, that's what it was. It was people that were born in your year. And I was like, oh man, all these people seem way older than I do, but I'm just an old man.
So part of this Four Square conference, we hosted this panel conversation with 5 Four Square owners, and it was me and Shay. It was about 70 minutes of sort of Q&A. And so in the backdrop to what's going on with me in Christchurch and burnout and all that sort of stuff, there's a question from the audience about how do you deal with burnout?
I wanted to make a gag on that because it was done through Slido, and they'd put anonymous, and I thought, why don't you just put your name to it, Steve? It was funnier in my head, then, so I just let it lie.
But I think because we're so comfortable in that space now, just talking about our shit, it was a real good example of the power of like leading by example. So it was good. It was good from you, yeah. And I was like, look, I'll be totally honest. Like, I've had a really tough couple of weeks. I turned my phone off. I've been more present with the family, blah, blah, blah. And then it led to like a waterfall of the panel. And they all, like, credit to them because they're just Four Square owners. They're in front of 160 of their peers. And they really lent into the difficult times and how they deal with it and show an emotion. And cool.
It was awesome. It really was awesome. There was a moment on that panel too, and it happened, one of the last things that we had hosted or MC'd, I thought I did a really good gag. Really good gag. And nobody laughed. And you said, and this is a nice compliment, it was almost too quick for the room.
Yeah.
Because the guy from Four Square Heafy Terrace, Alex, was talking about their seafood range. This is really into the weeds. And how that they'd got mussels in there and that had really turned the tide. So everybody comes for my mussels. And I said, what about the seafood? And I had to turn and be like, that was a really good gag. And there's still a couple of...
killed it.
Yeah.
And
just like this chat.
Yeah, it was good. When you retell it, it's not quite so effective. It was better in the room.
In the moment, yeah. I shouldn't have tried to retell that. I shouldn't have tried to retell
better in the room.
How good are lobby drinks, though, in a hotel?
Yeah, there's... we talk about like when we slip into friendship mode, and it doesn't happen that often anymore. But hotel lobby was friendship mode. It's like after you've done a job, you feel a sense of fulfillment, and it's a hard day's work. And then I was having a cocktail. I was like, I'm going to have cocktails in the lobby. You in? And he's like, shit, yeah.
Yeah, mocktails for me. A couple of a virgin Negroni I think I had was very nice. Yeah, and those beef fat chips were good.
And I've caught Jesse Mulligan coming in. And when Jesse Mulligan walks into a restaurant, it's kind of like he's a bit of a head turner. So I went down and had dinner at the Horizon restaurant, bloody beautiful
the grill, I believe steak. It is.
And Jesse was in the corner and I had a chat with him afterwards. And I was like, are you reviewing, Jesse? And he's like, yeah, I'm back. I actually did a review and they've asked me to come back. And I won't say whether... he looked on it favourably or not. But I did notice that everyone is aware that he's in the restaurant.
Yeah.
It's best the best waitress or waiters out to him, and it's quick service.
Yeah.
And it's like, Jesse's in town.
You want to join his table if he's ever out.
Should have.
Yeah.
Should have settled up.
Smart play. And then you were straight back on the tools, right?
Yeah, we did a webinar for Reflections that night, which was really cool with Suzanne McFadden, who'd just been down to Nelson for a Reflections trip. She is glowing every time she comes back with the best reports of, the sense of fulfillment. I've said that twice now of these jobs she did. Had a really good call. About 60 people.
I was going to say big numbers. Big numbers on the call, right?
Which was awesome. Hopefully some more. Yeah, if you're listening and want a reflection, go to reflections.life. And then I had to talk at a primary school the morning after that.
Dads and lads?
Yeah. St. Columba's Primary School had asked me to come in and talk to their breakfast. And I wasn't sure who do you aim that at?
I've done one at Hamilton Boys, and I think I kind of must have gone about 50-50 at the dads and 50 at the lads.
Mm.
It was probably easier to hit the year 9 lads than a intermediate school.
Well, 6 and 7 and 8 year olds.
But you've got skin in the game with your own kids.
And that's what I thought. There's a lot of interaction and like wave your hand if you know what a journalist is. And,
good.
You know, do you know who Chris Wood is and Stephen Etiquette? You know, sort of planting these names.
I saw your notes. And you did good prep for that.
Yeah, well, they wanted themes of resilience. So it's like, what's an example? And it's like, well, who are our previous guests we've had that they will know that you can show resilience? And Chris Wood, I think, is the best example.
It's like a muscle.
Yeah. So anyway, the example is Chris Wood. You know him as this like superstar of the English Premier League, one of the best strikers in the comp. But you don't know that from the age of 20, he went out on loan to 7 different clubs and bounced around, picked up his life each time, and each time got back on his feet and kept going.
Yeah.
So it's like that is the lesson, right? That is shit's not going to go your way. You're going to fall down. You get back up. And if you stick with it long enough, could turn into Chris Wood.
Did you accidentally swear at any point?
No.
Because I know the audience that you're speaking to, and sometimes it slips into our lexicon.
I was careful with my tongue. You had a little something as well?
Well, I did. I was going to say, actually, speaking of world's best or some of the best, you got out on the golf course that same day, that same afternoon while I was still in Auckland.
Yeah, I did.
And played with a very good player.
I did. I had a 4-ball with my golf coach. So I've been getting lessons at the club room with Mark Purser, who is one of the best golfers in New Zealand. He used to be pro, now he just coaches. But he shot a 66, which is 6 under par.
Yeah.
33 on the front, 33 on the back. I was his teammate. We were playing against former Between Two Beers guest Marcus Daniel and Football Ferns coach Michael Main, and we lost. We got smoked. So read into that what you will.
Sounds like
my partner has gone 6 under, and our team has lost by multiple points.
2 questions.
Yeah.
What's that like when you're playing partner and they are on fire and you're maybe not playing as well as them? Do you feel a sense of responsibility?
Yeah, and the last time I'd felt like that was with Eric Murray, where I felt like I was really letting him down.
Yeah.
But it's something special to play around with someone who is so good.
Well, that's the second part that I wanted to ask you is when you're watching him, are you just like, wow?
Yeah. He birdied the first. So playing out at Tiiki and off the Kanuka and it's just like everything, he didn't make a mistake. Just everything was so precise. I was just in awe. Like I felt really grateful to see how golf is supposed to be played. This leads to an interesting seg I'm keen to hear your take on.
Okay.
You know, I spoke about our golf outing a while back.
The wives.
3 of my friends and their wives, and we all went out on the golf course.
Yeah. Sunday morning.
Hypothetically, if you had been part of that 4-ball and your partner had afterwards had a sexual dream about someone in that 4-ball that wasn't you, how would you deal with that information?
I don't think I'd be particularly enamored by that idea. I think I would probably find it quite challenging to my ego.
Would you? Dreams?
Yeah. I'm very insecure.
Is it?
Yeah. How did you go with that?
Yeah, fine.
I mean, Harry, how did you hypothetically deal with that?
I enjoy. Well, first I love Bond for front footing it.
Yeah,
you don't have to share that sort of thing.
No.
She woke up and said, "I had a dream last night." Which was very unusual.
Right.
And I found out who it was. And
did you ask, or was that volunteered?
No, I think when you front foot that what's happened in your dream, you need to follow through with who it was.
Yeah, when there was only 2 options. Well,
3.
4 options.
Yeah,
6 options. It wasn't you and it wasn't Bond, so there's six options.
Anyway.
Now I'm trying to think of who that could have been.
Yeah. No, look, she front-footed it, so it ended up in our chat group with the 8 people that had been on the golf course, and it created some good bands.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, that was a good...
Hey, fair play, Bond. Fair play, Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I think less of myself now for reacting the way I did to the hypothetical.
I don't know how that's going to sound. That was a weird thing to talk about.
Well, we're here now.
Yeah.
Let's quickly segue out of that to Between Two Bets, Brought to you by our friends at the TAB.
Yeah. So when I was having my detached off-the-grid weekend...
Oh, yeah.
The All Blacks were playing France in Hamilton.
They were.
And for loyal Between Two Bets listeners and Hambassadors listeners, you'll know last week I put the bet on France scoring the first try of the game.
Unbelievable. It was an unbelievable Hail Mary bet.
And they did it.
It came in.
And they did it. Which means we are $50 away from paying out the unit, because that was 50 returned $275.
Unbelievable.
And I'm celebrating. And
on Monday.
Well, across those 2 days, that was the only time I really wanted to fire up the phone and sort of gloat on the bet. But yeah, happy days.
Oh, great bet.
Yeah, we're so close.
Well, we are close. And this morning I have MC'd the team announcement of the Waikato NPC and FPC squads for 2025. And I'm red, yellow and black. I'm Mulu all in.
Oh, yeah.
So they opened the NPC, the men's team, against Auckland at Eden Park, Battle of the Bombays. They're at, let me check my odds here, they're at $2.40, so I'm on that for a $70 return, which I reckon will tip us over
the line. Yeah. And I've gone Warriors against Dolphins, half-time, full-time at $2.20.
Not again.
At $2.20.
Yeah,
we just need one of these to win.
Okay.
And we're paying out.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That would be very good to pay out finally on the loyal Between Two Bets followers. R18, bet responsibly.
We had a bit of mail. Actually, the listeners enjoyed Marketing Marcus using the R in gutted.
I had 3 people come up to me and say, hey, thanks for identifying it and trying to stamp it out, because it is annoying. Amazing reaction.
But we did have this correspondence. So this was an email. So here's the thing, guys. You pointed out that your producer spells gutted with an R, but you pronounce bean as bin. It's terrible pronunciation and reminds me of Jacinda. That's not a good thing. You need to pronounce it like bean that you eat, not bin that you discard rubbish into. So if you're going to have a crack at your man putting an R into gutted, then I thought it okay to point out one of your flaws. Anyway, I love your work. The potties are terrific. Great listening. Keep up the great work, but bin the bin and introduce bean. Cheers, lads. Jono.
Yeah, when that came in, I was talking to Doc Brown about it, and I think I'm very guilty of the bin.
Yeah, I say bin too. I was like, yeah, bin.
Yeah.
It's bin.
Bean.
I don't know anything wrong with it.
It's
not in the same category as R and gutted.
It's not spelt, but it's lazy lexicon.
It's like how I used to say bought to you by the TAB until a very loyal listener kept at me and said, no, bring that R into bought. You're letting yourself down.
Brought to you by. Yeah. What else is in the fun bag?
Yeah, had a couple of questions in. What has been the biggest off mic moment that never made it to air?
There's a few. There was about 6 Mark Ellis stories that we cut out of that blockbuster episode.
Mark Ellis was he's the greatest example of this. One of my favourite episodes. But at the start, he was like, "Whatever you get is what you get." He's like, cracked open half a dozen beers and told his stories. And then afterwards got an email like the day or two after. It's like, hey, I better have a listen back to that. Some of those stories.
I think he used very good judgment in that case. Matthew Ridge was another one who came in, and I mean, what went out, there's a lot that went out. There was a couple of things that he kept to himself afterwards.
Yeah, there was. And there was a few just sort of like, I want to say saving him from himself, but a few little... We've done a few of those.
A
few terms he's used, which, stuff might have been made of, which wasn't the intention, and we sort of like edited
there was a few that we let fly. Do you remember when we had to like almost re-record a whole passage for one of the, like we'd recorded it, they'd thought about it, and we're like, actually, can I? And we came back like it was in the COVID era, like 2 days later, and recorded a whole new 45 minutes of that, and like repackaged it all together.
Who was that with?
I don't want to say.
But is this the football coach?
Yes.
Yeah. So this was early days, right? This was probably episode 60 or something. We're like 240
I think it was
now.
inside the first 50.
Yeah. And very particular about his messaging and the way he wanted to sound. And we had said at the start, whatever you want to do. Like,
as is our way.
Yeah. Did we have to get up in the middle of the night and re-record that or something? I remember we had like 4 different re-record attempts at it with a lot of editing, and we were both on the tools then, so it was us doing it.
Yeah,
that takes me back. I forget about those days when you would have a bit of a gritty interview, and then I'd think, shit, I got to go through and edit all of that, and write it up for try to get it into the Herald, and do the clips, like cut the video clips to put out on the social media. And we had like 100 followers on each platform.
And that's the duty of care. Actually, more recently, there was a great yarn at the end of the Jay Reeve episode that didn't make the final cut.
Yeah.
And after the mics were switched off, a whole bunch more epic stories from the MTV days, which maybe with some gentle coaxing we can get into a part 2.
Yeah, I think so. What's the other question? 2 other questions. What's the closest the pod has come to falling over? For today?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago today. It's always close. Probably, I mean, in the early days when we were very football orientated, we probably clocked the New Zealand football landscape when we did episode 50 with Ryan Nelson.
Yes. That's what sprung to mind for me too. We'd been all football, and when you do Ryan Nelson as your 50th guest, it's like, well, where do you go after that? And we kind of deliberately had to pivot away from football at that point to keep things fresh. But I think I'd had a kid
I was going to say,
that time.
I'm pretty sure Billy...
I think we took 2 or 3 weeks off, and it was like, are we going to keep going?
Are we going to do again?
With this?
Yeah. And we did, thankfully.
And then, I mean, we joke about now, but like this business thing is a wild and wicked ride. You know,
it is.
Like we had some pretty tough news this week.
Yeah,
like
we did.
You know, a sponsor, an advertiser has sort of pulled out, and it's like, man, you ride these waves, and you never quite know what's around the corner. And I think it's kind of part of this realization over the last few weeks is that nothing's secured or guaranteed. Yes, we've got this great podcast and everything's going well. But it doesn't mean that it's always going to be that way.
Welcome to the world of glass half empty, man. Welcome to that world of glass half empty. But if there is someone out there that wants to jump on board, there's an opening.
There you go.
Between 2 beers.
My man.
Get on board.
He's hustling.
Is there one more in the fun bag?
Yes, there is. If you could go back and redo one interview, which would it be and why?
COVID. Go back to COVID times when we're doing a lot of digital. The Danny Morrison episode that never aired.
Yeah.
That was a great episode.
We should get Danny Morrison back.
Yeah, we'd love to get
because he was in
back.
Abu Dhabi or something, eh?
That's right. You couldn't use StreamYard.
No.
Really getting to the detail.
And it kept jumping in and out, and we thought it would all just mend itself, and it did not mend itself.
The audio.
It was a train wreck.
Yeah, the audio was not kind to us on that.
Chris Cairns.
Okay. That was another virtual. He couldn't see us.
Well, that's why I'd want to redo it. So this was our biggest interview.
Yeah.
Chris Cairns telling his story, 90 minutes. He was beaming in from Australia. We were in the ACC studio, and we couldn't get the video working.
We could see him.
But he couldn't see us. And I think we were told it'll be fine, like in post, you'll be able to see both sides of it so you can make the videos and clips. And that was not the case.
That's right.
And I was thinking there would be so many clips from that would have like really sort of helped tell the story better than just our audio. So I would do that one.
Good
again.
memory. And another COVID one that I can think of was Monty Beetham. And I remember it was like we only had 45 minutes or maybe an hour tops with him. And I remember at the end of it, there was way more stuff that I wanted to kind of get through, but we just couldn't make it work in that time frame. So I'd like another crack at Monty Beetham. I don't mean that in terms of like a fight, just another interview.
Listeners will make their own mind up.
Make their own judgments.
Marius van der Poel, we released that a week ago. Super popular episode.
Yeah, people love an SAS story.
Well, these are my favourite, is people with a lesser profile, and by the strength of the story and how much it gets shared and what they've done, it becomes popular. Like that went to the top of the podcast charts, like 15, 20,000 views on YouTube. People love him. And I'd hope that, because we spoke at the start of the episode, we took a bit of a gamble on it.
Yeah.
You know, it was just basically an email from his father-in-law. Like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, let's give it a nudge.
And sort of having a bit of back and forth with him, like he's stoked with just how it's been received and family and friends.
Do you know if he's had any interest in that course that he's trying to get up and running?
And I was in Murray Rose Barber this morning, and they were talking about the Forge. Jace was like, "You going to do the Forge?"
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, I love the idea. I don't know if it's for me, but I love it for someone else.
Yeah, funnily enough, I was at Soul Bowl on Sunday, and someone said, I've done Outward Bound. And what he was talking about was like Outward Bound XX. And it was like, so they were like, no, I wouldn't want to go on that. That seems too hardcore. And I was like, I think you'd be surprised with the amount of people that would be keen for an opportunity like that.
Yeah.
The Forge. Keep an eye out somewhere.
The Forge, yeah. A lot of love. And that space, I don't know, that SAS, that mindset, that resilience, that's our sweet spot, eh?
It is.
Loves that.
And we almost doubled down this week with Dr. Timothy Timoke with his story, which I reckon there's a movie in that.
Yeah.
Like when we were sat there chatting to him, and we were moving through the different chapter of his life. All I could think of was how do we condense this one into just over 2 hours, which we kind of managed to but like, yeah, or even like a 6-part TV series of all the different phases of his life. Like, we hardly gave any oxygen to the Australian bikie gang years when he was like a doorman and all sorts of crazy stuff across the ditch.
Read his book. Go and read his book, The Unlikely Doctor. The episode is great, but there is so much more depth in it. For those that haven't listened to the episode, he has this like horror childhood of abuse and neglect, and pulls himself out of it with gangs and sort of bounces across to Australia. And we didn't really touch too much about the Australian time in the podcast, but holy shit. Yeah. Like working as a bouncer in security and just like being the baddest man in Australia and building this reputation and then like running a business and all the bikies and gang wars and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, then getting into the underworld, mailing his patch back on like at the airport on his way back to New Zealand is hectic.
And then lands back in New Zealand and gets into acupuncture and then becomes a paramedic and then trains to become a doctor at the age of 56.
And the manslaughter charge in the middle.
Again. Man, yeah, it is made for a movie.
Yeah.
And he's such a good storyteller. And there are parts of it when he's talking about like racial injustice and the Waitangi Tribunal. And man, when he comes to life, you see that sort of power. Eh?
The retelling of the story when he was in the prison and he was thinking that someone was going to come through the door for, like, to try and take his life that night. And he took himself, it was like Jason Gunn, but in a completely different tangent where he took himself back into the cell. And it was like, it was a sight to behold being in his presence while he was retelling some of those stories.
Did you mean Jamie Pinnell?
No. Do you know how Jason Gunn talks about taking yourself back into those moments? But it's a great example with Jamie Pinnell as well.
I don't remember Jason Gunn in the prison cell.
Well, that's why it's like off slightly on a different tangent.
I remember that part of the episode. Yeah.
Wild ride.
Yeah,
that's a wild ride.
Wild ride. That's a nice way to end it. Hey, I almost made the whole thing without saying hey.
Nearly. Big couple of days for you coming up as well. On the OMP, the Owner Manager Program, thanks to the Ice House.
Yes, I've spoken about this a little bit, especially on our ABO. I'm going away for 3 days a month for 5 months on the Owner Management Program, and I am really excited for it and a little bit scared and nervous about what it's going to be. I'm really excited for it. I'm a little bit, if I'm honest, anxious about being the person there who knows the least about owning or managing a business.
Best place to be, I reckon.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be huge for my growth.
Did you know that you were being hosted at a golf resort?
Yeah.
Is that part of the reason why?
Oh, the clubs are in the boot. Maybe we'll pop out for 9 holes before the 9 a.m. Who's to say?
Yeah, well, maybe.
Yeah. No, I'm really looking forward to it. Ice House have been a great sponsor of our Accidental Business Owners podcast, and this is sort of part of the package, and it's only going to be good for the biz, eh? We've got to figure this thing out one way or another.
Well, I did a 2-day financial skills last week, which was very good, and I've got a sales skills coming up as well. So Ice House really helping us sort our shit.
Yeah. Nice, man.
All right.
See you next time.
Enjoy.